Biden is expected to pass the torch to Kamala Harris during a primetime speech in Chicago tonight. But with inflation, border numbers, and will tout the Biden-Harris administration, quote, accomplishments and results as President Biden is expected to pass the torch to Kamala Harris during a primetime speech in Chicago tonight. But with inflation, border numbers, and violent crime up across U.S. cities, can Democrats really defend the Harris record? Let's bring in Democratic campaign strategy. I see what's happening at the border. I see the criminal elements in our major cities, and still say we made life better for you.
Yeah, Lawrence, it's a great question. I think we saw a little bit of that already in what the vice president said in North Carolina on Friday, where she acknowledged the high price of some of these goods, and she ticked off some of those prices. And I think she, effectively said, we're working to bring down these costs, but they're still far too high. In a little bit of a change from what we've seen from President Biden, who's just been a 100% cheerleader for the economy, off some of those prices. And I think she, effectively said, we're working to bring down these costs, but they're still far too high. In a little bit of a change from what we've seen from President Biden, who's just been a 100% cheerleader for the economy. We're leading the G7 kind of out there. I think she is tailoring that message, really a populist message, taking a play from Donald Trump's playbook from 2016, saying, "I feel your pain. I understand what's going on. They're still far too high, and this is what I'm going to do about it." Yeah.
So you say, "I feel your pain, but give me four more years." So this is some of the numbers that we're looking at right here when it comes to the inflation under the Biden and Harris administration from January 21 to 2024. We're looking at up 19 point. Go to violent crime, up 25% across 66 major cities. And of course, we can go through the border numbers as Americans see that. So how do you make the case to the American people? Give me 4 more years of this. I'm going to be a populist now, but I'm the current vice president. People are saying, in that weekly meeting that you have with the president right now, do you ever tell him the plans that you want to do right now?
Yeah, I mean, Lawrence, I think she's going to strike that right chord, that right balance, right? The fact that, on the border, for example, and you've spent a lot of time down there, the fact that we're seeing the lowest border encounters since July 2019 is a good indication. The fact that now inflation year over year is back down under 3%, still far too high, as the vice president said in North Carolina. These trend lines are all heading in the right direction. Hopefully we'll see a rate cut in September from the Fed. That's going to spur more of housing investments and things like that. But again, it's this delicate balance with this passing the torch moment today with the president.
I think people will make 1,000 pro-Hamas protesters here. And it's become this real problem because you got even Democratic officials that are being encouraged not to put their name down when they check in a hotel. Is this a problem for the party?
I think it's a problem optically, right? And I've seen a lot of interviews with these protesters, and they say, why weren't you really in Milwaukee and things like that? They have said they're protesting the current occupants of the Oval Office, right, and their agenda. I hope that we will not see any kind of violence. The city's been. I got in yesterday, checked into my hotel. There was a full force of police out there on the street, a lot of bicycle cops, a lot of showing of force. I think hopefully we can maintain some semblance of peace in this city. Give them the right to protest, hear them out. But again, tamp down any kind of violent actions on the streets, like we've seen in D.C. and like we've covered before.
Well, it's sad to me that they didn't approve the pro-Israeli group to be able to protest as well. So we'll be following Kevin.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah.